Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fireside Tales. You all might notice that I'm in a rather odd position. I'll just go ahead and show you. The story is that my roommate has left, and I guess he's gone for good now, which is awesome. I'm not going to lie. I love having this place to myself, but I thought I'd just go ahead and celebrate. And I was thinking of the best way to do it, and I thought, why don't I tell you all a little bit about the world of the Fireside Tales? Because I tell you a lot of stories about the Fireside Tales, but I've never really talked about what happens on a day-to-day basis. And, sometimes in life, simple things like that are the most beautiful. So, a couple weeks ago, I was going to a monastery in Maine. And it was just, the usual work. I was going to look at some old manuscripts and some tapestries. And, I walked around and I was led by Father Nicholas, who was the keeper there of the Fireside Tales, and I got to see everything. But one thing that I got to see was what struck me the most, and that was the Seventh Sword. And if you're not aware of what the Seventh Sword is, it is one of the most important relics in the Fireside Tales. The Sword of the Angel that was used to kill the Nightmare. And I'm walking up to this thing, and I don't know if this is the real one or not. It could be a fake or something. No one's really sure. But it did look authentic to me. And I couldn't help but feel just a little bit humbled by it. Here was a sword that supposedly can only be wielded by those who are good and wish to do good for the world and vanquish evil. And Father Nicholas was just talking all about it, how it had been passed down from generation to generation there at the Fireside Tales, and I thought it was all rather interesting. But I go to bed, and I'm just lying there, and I hear this noise. And at first I'm not sure what it is, because I'm still kind of, I'm just waking up and I'm hearing it. And I realize it's kind of like the singing of an angel. It's very beautiful. And it just like vibrated all over the place. It was everywhere at once. So I get up and I'm in my pajamas and my slippers and I go over to the window to see like who might be singing. And I look out and I don't see anyone, but I do see this bright white light at the end of this lake. It was a very small lake, just a little sort of almost like a pond, I guess would be a more accurate term. But anyways, I'm looking out at it and I decide to go check it out. So I run outside and I cross to the other side. And as I draw closer, I realize that it is the sword itself. It's the seventh sword, and it's floating in the air, and it's singing this song. And I'm just staring in amazement at this, and I follow it for some while in the woods, but eventually it seems to move just a little bit faster than I can go or want to go, and it just drifts off. So finally I decide I just go back to the pavilion, make sure no one's like stole it, and figure out what's going on. And I go back there, and I find the sword still there, and just right behind the glass. And I'm looking at it, and Father Nicholas walks up. And he asks me what I'm doing out so late, and I tell him that what I saw, that this sword was floating in the air and shining with this bright white light and singing. And Father Nicholas said quite a few of the people there at that Fireside Tales had saw this, and that he believed it was the spirit of the sword waiting for its master, that it was growing impatient, because it had been separated him for a very long time by the man in black who was trying to stop the hero from returning, because that wouldn't make sense and heroes shouldn't exist in his world, at least not in the way that this particular hero exists. So anyways, I hear his story, and I say, well, I think that I saw it too, and we talk about it for a little while, but finally I'm getting a little tired, so I head on back to bed. And I wanted to ask all of you what you all thought this was. Now, I am a person that is not very superstitious, and I try to look at things in a realistic way. What I saw on the other side of that pond could have been anything. It could have been a trick. Somebody could have been holding up the sword. I don't think Father Nicholas would lie, but it is always possible. But regardless, it did get me thinking, in life, we all like to think things like politics, like Donald Trump and Barack Obama are very important. We like to think the human species is very important. We like to think that our world is very important. But in the grand scheme of things, it's only just a very small part. And the things that really are important are things like the Grim Reaper, the Man in Black, the Man in White, the Man in Gray, and that hero with the sword. That is one of the most, in my opinion, important things in this universe. I think that's definitely something to think about. So, I just wanted to say that I love you all. I'm all glad that you have come with me on these adventures of learning about this world. And as always, sweet dreams and good night.